All right. Very light news day today. Wow. That's a rare sight. There's no high impact news today. And let me just see tomorrow while I'm at it. Friday. It's all about Canada tomorrow. But today has no high impact news. No news for the pound. Euro news in an hour. It's listed as light impact. And then you get to New York, U.S. session. There's unemployment claims, medium impact stuff, and Canada, medium impact. So not a big news day, particularly light news day. To the charts. All right. Looks like my mic got louder. Yeah, it did. Okay. You're a dollar, and let's get caught up. I've been spending a lot of time in bed, just in case you're wondering, with my sinus infection. I got this a year ago. If anyone was here a year ago, you remember. Sucks. Okay. So yesterday, your dollar did end up coming off of here. If you remember, we were talking about that, looking at that. And just a quick look. Ended up breaking through the automatic rally, weakness, and look at that no demand right before it fell. This was like right after the session. It did that, broke through it. And it even did, just to point out, and we'll get caught up, break test continuation of the support. So it was a fib. Did the fib have a double top fake break? Come on. Then it's all there. It did, right? Yeah. Here's the high twice, and then we had a fake. We had to do that. Come on. Here's the way when it went down. We had another test of the old support, which was not a huge move off of it, but it did drop like 30 pips back down off of the test, which was tradable too because there was a weakness on that right here. So break test continuation pattern, just to show you that. That's when it tested the old support right there. How tradable was that? Nah. It was kind of just a quick thing. There was weakness, but yeah. But this was really the fib setup. So going forward, the question is this trend continuing, or are we still looking to go short? Well, we don't see if we're calling it a trend. Are we calling it a trend? Yeah, I think we're calling it a trend. Yeah, we are, because we're into new low ground, actually. Let's remember where we are. So let's just start again. And the main thing that tells me I still want to go short is the amount of volume down here, which is on the higher side. But is it climactic? No. But it's fairly high, which means we typically get a retracement off of that, which we did get. But I want to look closer at that low. Let's see how much concentrated buying was actually in there off the low price, or a mix. Yeah, there was a good amount. And guess what pattern that is? Oh my goodness. So there's the high volume there. There's the high volume there. If it was a bullish background, this is such a ridiculously good setup, right? Because you have strength there, and you can trade counter trend. Who says you can't? But I don't. Counter background. It was pretty high in the 1 hour too, considering that. So it wouldn't be terribly wrong. But just to point out the classic pattern here of the strength, the 14 EMA test for sellers, which didn't bring a lot of activity, but it came down because buyers wait. And then we had the fake break pattern. Again, strength, unfinished U-shape, right? And then we test here again on the 14 EMA. And there's that ridiculously low volume, no supply, right? So that in this pattern, that's an entry right there. Or at the latest, getting above there. So here. So there is a decent amount, and now there's a lot of selling here. Okay. So we just looked at this. There's a good amount of buying in there. It's really concentrated off the low. And then again, here we saw some weakness. What level is that? Sort of a random level. Doesn't look like a fib, does it? No. Ten after the hour. Well, it's looking a bit mixed in the background as far as, like, do I really trust to not worry about these buyers here? I wouldn't want to sell into that level, that's for sure, down here. Again, we saw really focused, smart money type of activity buying here. It's not huge volume to make me just say, okay, I want to start buying. And again, we saw weakness on the 5-minute really spike here. So it's a bit mixed. What would make it a little safer is if we could, first of all, for going short, I would consider buying off this level because there's so much buying first time. And if we do it again and the volume's high and maybe a fake breakout, right? But we also did see that pop of large selling here, and we are in a downtrend. So how I'm going to deal with this is it could go either way, and I just want to be prepared. So if we move up, I would consider the short just to mark resistance areas. There is that larger fib. This is stuff we already had drawn in yesterday. The point is if we get away from that low, not that it has to reach there, but if it does, but this area would be fine. If we can get up here and see weakness, then I'd be comfortable going with the trend. I wouldn't want to sell again into this area, particularly because there was large buying there. So if we move up here and see weakness, I'd be all right with that. It could be a fake break of this high right here, or this swing point here. And then that's if we move up to go with the trend and get in away from where that buy activity was. Now, if we move down, again, I'm not selling into that large buying. It would be a matter of seeing buying again, ideally a fake break, and look for the entry there. Since it was so clean there yesterday, could happen again. I would, if I had to take a guess, we're probably going to come down and see that large buying again. But we'll take it as it comes. If we pop up, I'll certainly consider the sell entry. So that's the best way to deal with that. Just looking at the bigger projection, I mean, it's really simply to support, particularly if we get through that. Obviously, the fib is old news. Okay, so up or down, there could be an opportunity. So the pound did it again. It bounced off of here. It wasn't a fake break pattern, but it's staying in the range. Which was what I expected yesterday. So that's why these zones are there, right? Anywhere in the zone down to a fake break is what I say. And there you go. And there you go, which is strength no supply. Entry. Right? Right. So very much went as expected. That's like really, really quick and to the point, that entry. So hopefully some of you got that. Strength, no supply, entry. Now, and I went past the middle of the range. That was a decent move. Now, has anything changed? Well, to the left, there's buying here, or likely, maybe, to get out of this range to the upside. But then again, we're moving down, so hey, maybe a range trade a third day in a row, right? Off the same area. Anywhere, this box stays the same. Anywhere in here, down to a fake break. Let's make it 3 in a row. Well, everybody's worried about direction. Pound yen, pound dollars just handing out range trades. There's no pound news today also, so that would be interesting if... are we rejecting 618 AG? Well, that would be in a golden setup. Oh, you know the name. That would be a golden setup. I use that term on a trend reversal. That's when you have climactic volume and then the first fib retracement, any setup there. So technically, that's it. That's what that term is for. So in a ranging situation, I'm not worried about fibs or anything like that, if you notice. So really, that just applies to trends. In this case, it's that simple. We're looking to buy low, sell high in the zones, and it could do it for a week or two. I tend to avoid any other entries when it comes to ranges when they're really this obvious, ranging. But let's just see what you're talking about real quick. I guess you mean because this volume was high. I guess you're talking about this fib. Yeah, in a range, I don't do that. Now you know. If you want to, that's fine. If you have logic in taking this trade, that's perfectly fine. Also, this time of day, you're going to get high volume, so it could be a little misleading. Now, this is 10 minutes into the session, but still, it's hard to trust that early London open volume, which used to not be an issue in the market at all for years, but now it's a thing. It used to just warm up gradually. Now it just spikes, and it could be an area where you're looking for high volume or low volume, and you just can't trust it. So, but I really wouldn't say it's terribly wrong with all that strength in the background twice. And then if you're seeing a setup off of fib, I can't really argue with that. But with ranges, I just like to do that because I know how often you can get stuck in the middle of a range and get mixed signals, because that's really your equilibrium area where you can get buying and selling. But I'm glad you pointed that out. That is not crazy at all. It's, not everybody has to trade like me as long as you're trading off the right information, which is buyers, and it looks like buyers again. 618 overshoot, so that's not bad. I'm kind of set in my ways at this point. Every now and then I'll pull something out that I don't normally do, but it's rare. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So this looks similar to, just to get perspective, the AU and the Eurodollar. Just comparing the similarities, not the pound. That's the pound range. The Eurodollar had this pullback and is now continuing the trend, right? The AU is not, and is in a ranging condition. When you have these three pairs, the differences are going to be, when the similarities, except for one, that one is having, well, I'll say it this way. The euro is weak, and that's why it's moving down, not because the US dollar is strong. If the US dollar was the strong driving force, right, then the pound would be moving down. This guy would have at least gone to support, tried to move down like the euro dollar, right? So it's weak euro rather than strong US dollar driving this stuff. So these guys are not correlating at all. If anything, the correlation GU and AU with ranging conditions at this point, if you look at the daily chart. So we might have a range trade here, but volume has to agree that it's a range, which would mean no particular direction is being given. But if we look at the price, this is the entire month of May. Obviously, it's a range. We haven't left the price area. But it is a pretty big range, and there is trending type of moves within it. So I'll take it as it comes. But probably the best trade right off the bat that I could see would be a fake break of here. A range trade. Now we do see that buying. I do want to check that out. I'm just curious, but I am treating this like a range at this point. Just want to see how much buying came in yesterday and all that. Yesterday, really no. There's a bit of strength there, some strength there. Okay. Weakness? Not so much. Okay. Kind of sloppy, but it is showing strength. But I'm treating it like a range. That's it. And this might end up being the low of a range going forward. We'll see what happens if it moves down. But right now, that's pretty much the main thing I would look for on this. Now, I always say fake break, but it doesn't have to be. It's in the zone up to a fake break. Let's mark the zone. Mark the zone. That's my third solo album. Is Into the Zone. At first, it's Mark the Zone. Then it's Touch the Zone. And then it's Into the Zone. Reject the Zone. So, obviously, range trade there. But if there's good strength behind this and good momentum, which is some decent momentum strength, I don't know about that, then, buying a dip up to there doesn't seem crazy the way it's been moving off of this. It's a double bottom fake break pattern. Some decent volume for this time of day here. Obviously a good result. Break test. Off we go. Saw that volume coming in here. Ooh, very, very mixed. Okay. And that started pretty early. That's some sloppy mess right there. That's right. Good increase in volume with no result. It just steadily increased. So we have a mix of buying and selling there. That doesn't give me any opportunity. But this is the main trade. Like I say, if there was anything else, it would be treating this like this little mini uptrend that it appears to be. I don't think I like that, though. That's where we are right now. I see. That's maybe something to consider. You know what? There's weakness here, too. I don't think I want to buy into that weakness, right? So, this would be sort of not the greatest because of the weakness, and generally we're in a range, but you could also see the reasons why if we were to move down and let's chill out with all this volume and see a concentrated volume spike here and no supply, and it's likely continuing up to the high. But really, I'd like the range trade. I doubt I'm taking that. Maybe if it looks amazing, no, we'll see. Just give me the range trade. I think I was considering, but once I saw that spike in weakness right there, I don't want to be buying into that, so I'll let it be. Let's see if we get the range trade. AJ. AJ went to the moon. One second. Okay. So from a daily point of view, just remember where we are. AJ has no trend since February. But we do have a very unusually strong move here, particularly for the time of day. There must have been news for Australia at that time. I'm just taking a look at this up move. Wow. Wow. That's not something you see every day. Interesting move. What I'm seeing, first of all, is there was no pre-positioning for this. It was more reactive, right? Yeah, there was some buying into here, but nothing special. And then it just kind of took off. Interesting stuff. They usually don't see this time of day. Is this a fake chart? Um, Buyers just kept going on this low activity late in the day. Then you have this really, that's weird. Now we have some very high volume at the high price. Let's look at that. Similar to AU. Behaving a little strange there. Something's going on. Again, it's just this high volume constantly with no result. High volume all through here, and we're just still in this price area, which means factually there's a mix of buying and selling, right? If you have a high volume and no price change, buying and selling is both active, more active than usual, but similar amounts, which doesn't give an imbalance or a good projection. Obviously, it's strong momentum to the upside, so if it does chill out and give a top that doesn't show weakness, I'd look to buy. If it does give reversal sort of weakness, then I would be patient on that and make sure that 1 hour chart gives weakness before selling, since this is a strong move. So we could get weakness on a 1 hour point of view, and then from there I'd look to sell it. But as far as buying, that's easy. It's going with this strong momentum. If we can move down and see strength and see volume clean up, just give us some regular stuff. So some levels to go long would be, let's just mark it up. There's a quick 14 EMA bounce. But there's a swing point there. Again, with fibs, I don't pick random levels like this one or this one. This was the last swing, and then this is the entire move. Those are the only two I'll draw. The others are just trying to make it to what you want it to be. They're too random. So those are the two fib areas I would have, plus his previous resistance turn support. So these are some of the areas I'd look to buy on a retracement, starting with this. Now, normally, if you see this high volume into high price, we're not talking about buying. But that's why we use the 5-minute to get the real details of it. It's not a concentrated sign of weakness that really appears off of a high price. Here's their high price. and then here's your high price. So it's not like a spike and a spike or anything like that. It's just all, a mix of buying and selling, like I said. So particularly if we move up a bit more and the volume is not this high and we start to decrease a bit into higher prices, then we're certainly not in a bearish situation. We stay with the trend. The only way I reverse again is if the 5-minute and the 1 hour show very high volume weakness, and the 1 hour would take a little time to confirm a sign of weakness. Otherwise, let's get the dip and go with it. Buy the dip. Pepperstone, yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know about this FXCM. It's looking weird. I'm going to change it once I get through my analysis, and then I'll make sure that everything's good. Yeah, it looks odd. I'm not liking FXCM here, which was fine for so long, but it does look a little odd now. So I'll change it, get through the pairs. Yep, I was thinking that. And I was going to compare it to, I have Oanda and Forex.com on the trading view charts. Okay, so that's that. I mean, I know it's not going to be terribly different, but some of the key things really may be. It looks a little weird on FXCM. Maybe it is FXCM. Let's take a look at EJ. Again, our ranging conditions. From a daily point of view. Background is not very clear. Even though on the daily point of view it's a range, there are trending moves within it. That happens plenty of time when you get big ranges on a daily chart. You look at a 1 hour chart and you're seeing trends and tradable trends and fib retracements and all that stuff. That's what we're dealing with here. But the recent volume is not very clear from a 1 hour point of view. Charts are a little funky today. GU range trade. Like this is a weakness selling into this up move, and then we continue through as if it never happened with low volume. I would think that something developed late in the day yesterday, news-wise or something, which I don't even care about why, as long as I get a setup that makes sense. I don't really like this though. Let me see yesterday. Oh gosh, what is going on since Euro Open? If you've been looking at if you have been looking at charts for a while, you know that this is not the usual start to the session. A lot of activity, but it's in both directions. Price can't get out. Some are selling, some are buying. And then here's yesterday off the low. Strength, decent strength. We start to move up. Weakness, more weakness. Very high volume weakness. So you see the buying through here, and then the selling here. And we kind of end up in the middle. So it's showing lack of consensus. This EJ is about as sloppy as you can get and still have volatility. The only thing that's worse than this is the price is just not moving. But I wouldn't do anything with this. This has to clean up. I would definitely be making something out of nothing to try to... I mean, we could mark up key areas and see if an obvious situation starts to come together. Like this fib area, maybe if volume cleans up and we have a 618 overshoot setup with a double top and all that really clean stuff, maybe. But there's not much background to go along with anything here. Daily chart is a range. 1 hour volume is mixed. But we have some levels here. If it touches 618 and it's clearly doing something in this area, we can start to work off of that. Maybe it gets through 618 on low volume, and then we're saying, okay, it's bullish. Maybe it rejects on, high volume that actually stands out. And say it's bearish. It really needs some information, though. There's not clear positioning. There's not clear trend. So I will be patient on the EJ. Pound yen. Obviously yesterday it never got here for the potential range trade, but this late day, really rare time of day to see such a clear trending move. And there we are. Is it doing a break test? What are we doing in there? Question. Oh, sorry. I didn't even see your question. Let me see what we got. Oh, okay. Just to finish off and then definitely answer your questions here. So pound yen, ranging conditions. That's what we're coming off of. We made it out. And this is likely doing this 5-minute crap again still. Yeah. Okay. There's a sign of, jeez. It's a mix. We just have this mix stuff going on here. And it'd also be sort of chasing a breakout. Okay, you could call it a break test, but what's this all about? I need this to clean up. It's got to tell us, is it really breaking out or not? You look from a 1 hour point of view, it looks like a fake break as far as this high volume. And if that leads to this close, it's sort of a break test, too much selling back into the range. Not everything is going to be black and white, but you got to wait for the answer. I wouldn't be buying at this time of day anyway. It looks like a break test was going to form. There's the break, there's the test, there's the increase in volume on the buying, and we start to move up, and there's just too much activity up there to say that sellers are not overly active. They're overly active for a breakout, and now we go come back down, but then we have buyers, right? That's just the story. I'm just a messenger. It looks like some signals are crossed here. Odd. It's a little odd behavior. When you get to know the charts really well, it's a little odd here. Real breakout. Test showing buyers. Just getting higher sellers. Becomes a fake breakout, but then buyers. Can't make this stuff up. I wouldn't have imagined that one. Let's let them figure it out. If we come down, we have our fake break. If we move up and get out, we have our breakout. I'm not going to assume anything with that mess, right? Okay, let me answer your questions here. The euro dollar, okay. Getting a 618 rejection off EU, no supply push testing recent art would. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, so okay. I missed your analysis of EU, but it's counter trend. But would this be a good buy signal? Highest volume of the week on the 5-minute at 50 fib goes down to 6. Wait. The thing is, well, okay, you missed my analysis. So okay, yeah, you're talking about this. For me, and the other guy saw, right. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Highest volume of the week, 5-minute 50. Okay. So what I initially was looking to do is, again, we're in a downtrend, and we just got into new low ground and all that. So buying would have to really convince me, and that is not that convincing as far as high volume. But if we look at it, I mean, there was certainly buyers in there, likely to give a retracement of some kind or whatever. But if you look at this, just to point this out since you missed it, high volume, fake breakout, high volume. This is a textbook reversal situation here, the way this appeared, right? And as we moved up, we saw weakness here. We saw weakness here, right? Don't forget that. And now we're getting this, again, this funky ass volume. But I wouldn't say it's crazy. It's what you're comfortable with. And now, if you're comfortable with this setup, then it's confirming right now, which is the no supply break of the automatic rally. What I say about this stuff is, as long as you're going off the logic that is correct, which you would be here, that's fine. It's a matter of how aggressive you want to be. This has a fake breakout pattern in the 618. Volume's in the right place. There's a dip in volume here, which is good. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I like it. And there's a no supply, which just confirmed. So if you're looking to trade it, it confirmed. But what's bad about it is the weakness here, right? That doesn't mean it's definitely not getting through or anything, but one of the things I like to avoid is buying into an area of weakness, high volume. If there's a little increase, I'll live with it. But there was a consensus of large selling twice off of this price area. So that, to me, just kind of lowers the probability that we can get through it. We may run into them again, right? Just talking about why is this popping up? Go to meeting. Anyway, so I wouldn't say that's wrong, but you have to be comfortable with buying into that selling and going counter trend off of, why is this, stop doing this? And be comfortable with this being a reversal type of bottom, which was really clean on the 5 minute and decent volume on the 1 hour. But I'd say if this volume was higher from a 1 hour point of view, this is just me, but your logic is all fine. You guys know what you're doing, it sounds like. If this was higher, showing strength, and this weakness on the 5 minute here wasn't so high, I could live with some weakness, then I'd be taking the trade. But my initial analysis was, let me get convinced of a reversal if I'm going to buy by seeing a double bottom fake break, or at least, double bottom, strength again. Maybe you even get the climactic. And also, since there was selling here, and I'm not convinced of a reversal, there could be large selling here and come back down, right? So that's just, what the heck is this meeting doing? So there's my sort of explanation of it. So I'm not saying it's wrong. The thing is, again, if you don't trade exactly how I do, you're doing it based on logic and right information. And if you're in the trade, you're already in profit. So, but you're going right into an area where sellers were, and you may even want to just move your stop to break even once you hit this zone and see what happens. Or even close half the trade, move your stop to break even and let it do whatever it's going to do. But you guys are thinking. I like it. Exactly the same thing happened in GU now with a little more strength in the background. Yeah, again, GU I'm treating like a range. You see the daily. You see the last 2 days range trade setup. Yep, we could say the same thing about this. Now, this isn't a trend reversal. So you don't need climactic volume here, right? We're in a range, not a trend. But my rule about ranges, and people who have been trading me a while know, I say this like a broken record, I avoid the middle of the range. Because price can really get stuck there. It's the equilibrium, so to speak, right? Is it wrong? No, because your logic is right and whatever you're comfortable with. Let's see the 5 minute. Really good strength. Right, here's your 14 EMA test. If you get a no supply, or if you get an automatic rally double bottom, right, you guys know. Okay, good. But then you got some weakness to the left, and it's the middle of the range. And I'm in conservative mode right now, I guess you could say. I'm always in conservative mode unless I haven't gotten a trade in a while. Then life gives you lemons, you make lemonade trades. But I'm in conservative mode now, so I'm not touching the middle of the range for GU. But the logic is totally there. If you're comfortable with it, whatever you want to do, you could do it on low risk. As long as the reasoning is there, I say it's okay. You don't want to be robots just trying to do what I'm doing. You get it. You guys are getting it, so that's cool. Let me see this. Candle. Also saw last night the fake break. Are you talking about GU? Fake break, but then it moved up to old resistance and got selling. So I thought it was a break test sold. I'm not sure. Oh, you're talking about euro dollar? Kendall, your last question is on which pair? Okay, just making sure. Yeah, that is some. I pointed this out before, so you may have missed it. Yesterday is. You're saying it appeared to be a fake break. Well, I have to put the old support in then, so let me just do that. So this was the old low, and you're saying it appeared to be a fake break. Here's the old low. Right, strength, but it never got back into the old range, if you're talking about that. So this is a good start. It's nice if these candles close off the low, but still the volume was very high, and obviously it did a break test instead of fake break, right? So that's that black and white answer. If we got above that, then you consider the long entry, if anything. But also considering the background and everything. And then here, again, we see this stuff, and then there's weakness here, which is a break test. I mean, the market doesn't always have to be on one page constantly. I mean, we can just read the story and understand that, yep, there was buying here and a clear double bottom fake break, no supply, all that. And when you get to the old support to resistance, there were some sellers there as well. And that's just the story. So you have a mixed up situation in this area going forward, right? There's not a consensus, which is fine. It works itself out. This worked itself out by moving up past the area of weakness with no longer seeing sellers. But now they're here. So, you know, the story is a little mixed up, but the signs are there of what's going on. It's not like we're confused or in the dark. We see where they're positioning, what they're doing. But, you know, what's high probability enough for you and what's good enough for you. Oh, you sold that break test. Okay. Again, not wrong, because we went to test that level. Again, like what would make this perfect is that you don't see this large buying, right? Fake break. This is a classic smart money's all over this kind of thing, right? The way it's shaped up. But putting that aside, I mean, if that wasn't there, I'd be saying this is your textbook break test continuation. But again, like I said about the other stuff, this would be selling into an area of strength. Typically, if I'm taking the break test, I'm making sure that this low didn't see too much buying. You know. But again, there's nothing wrong with it. You got, you know, that was some of the highest volume of the day on the break test. And it moved down off of that resistance somewhat. It got late in the day and volume died out. We were talking about this yesterday. Got late in the day, right? Volume's dead. And at that point, you know, it's good to maybe take a little profit, move your stop to break even. But I definitely see the logic there. It's a matter of, you know. So when you saw the buying on the fake break, would you have bought the buying on the fake break? Or you mean this, the buying off the low? Which gives it I guess in this case, you're anticipating. But no, because we're in a downtrend and the volume for me was just not high enough to buy there. Again, I'm in conservative mode and you guys are reading the charts right. And that's fine if we don't end up doing the same thing. If you trust that 5-minute setup because it was so clean, you know, but for me, this is counter trend. The euro dollar is particularly the one in this trend, right? And that we're talking about going into here and buying. So in that case, I'd like to see higher volume from a 1 hour point of view, which is really traditional VSA stuff, nothing I made up. You know, if you're going counter trend, you need, you know, the higher time frames, higher than a 5-minute, 15-minute chart to be showing you strength. And typically the climactic stuff is the best. So that's not really there. But again, the 5 minutes clear as day that at least we're likely to get some bounce. And, you know, your guys are reading the charts right. So it's good. The past couple weeks have been a bit messy. This is true. Yes. hmm And that's the way the market is. Sometimes it's just handing it out like a soda machine every day. Here's your or almost every day clean setups. There's other times where I don't take a trade the whole week, or I get one trade. And if there's any confusing stuff, I let it be. I'm conservative. It's about quality, not quantity. And then the only time I'll start to sort of get more aggressive is if I haven't had a trade in a while, and I at least feel confident with what the market is doing, and I can do something on half risk, start trading half risk. If it's really day after day. But there definitely has been. You're right. Some contradictions, and that's just the nature of the market. And I'm patient and I make sure things are right. Sometimes there's not a consensus among smart money, and they have to figure it out. But everything you guys are saying is correct, and it's really a level of aggressiveness. What's okay with you to do? Are you primarily using the 1 hour to determine what you see as areas high volume, or do you find it more in the 5 minute? I know you see high volume 1 hour, you use the 5 minute to clarify. Exactly. But if the 1 hour isn't giving clear guidance, do you just rely on the 5 minute and vice versa? If the 1 hour isn't giving anything clear, um, there are certain environments where the 1 hour is practically irrelevant unless so if you're in a trending move, let's say, and the 1 hour is just not giving any particularly high or low volume or any sort of information, then simply I'm going with the trend and I use the 5 minute. I don't even worry about the 1 hour chart, right? But on the other hand, the other side of that is if I'm going counter trend, I'm relying on the 1 hour to have high volume. Let's say I'm buying in a downtrend, the 1 hour has to have high volume strength for me in order for me to buy. So it's counter trend stuff, which again is traditional VSA stuff. None of that is my own invention. So in a reversal situation, 1 hour high volume and 5 minute, of course, agreeing. And the reason for that is when you're talking about reversing, there's going to be a concentration of increased activity when a trend is reversing, getting out, getting in, switching, getting out of shorts, getting into long. Those that are chasing the breakout, those that are buying into it, and normally this is high activity stuff. And then the 5 minute agrees, and there's a lot of positions to get out. We're talking about counter trend. the equilibrium is shifting, balance is shifting, but so it depends on the situation as far as how much the 1 hour even matters. If I'm in a strong trend going up and there's no high volume weakness on the 1 hour, then I don't even care what the rest of it. I just do my 5 minute stuff. Any tips on how to practice this stuff on the weekends? I need more exposure and practice, but the market is. Um, uh, well, the thing is, it's hard to back test sort of with like MT4 allows you to do that stuff, like as if you're testing an EA, but you can back test. The thing is the multiple time frames. That's what makes practice a little weird. But if you're going off a 5 minute chart, you're ignoring the 1 hour. If you're just using the 1 hour chart to do history and practice, you're ignoring the 5 minute. If you're able to set them up side by side and go through, go back, 6 weeks and pick a day, and on one side of your chart you could have the 1 hour, and then a chart, and then a 5 minute on the other, and mark up your 1 hour, mark up your 5 minute, and just keep going through the story and going through the story. Unless there's some sort of trade simulator thing that you can get two time frames off of, I'm not sure if that even exists. But that's what I would recommend for practice, is to get a 5 minute, 1 hour, go to the same day and start marking things up. And just observe the activity, see if there's setups, see how they play out, see how you're reading the charts. GU has actually had a triple bottom 618. Is that a platinum setup? Platinum setup. Oh gosh. GU, I don't know. It's just range to me. Maybe you guys are smarter than me. Really. You guys start using this stuff. You guys are going to be killing it. Platinum setup, huh? No, to me, that's just a range. Or again, we talked about this where I wouldn't say this buy entry is wrong. But to me, with the weakness that showed up here on the 5 minute and with a clear range and condition to the left, I am avoiding the middle, as I normally do. Is it wrong? No, because there's factual information saying there is large buying here. There's also large selling here, so I'm not so comfortable with it. That's me. But you guys seem to be thinking on your own and understanding things, and shit, maybe you're smarter than me and doing better than me. Picking out trades that I wouldn't take, but you're taking them and they're working, whatever it is. But I stay conservative. Platinum bottom. Today feels a little weird. It does feel a little weird. So I want to not be aggressive and let it come to me, which is the GU long, euro dollar, buy off here for counter trend if volume agrees, sell here since there was so much selling here, and we are in a downtrend. All right, just to review, pound dollar range. AU again has that sort of weakness there. So I wouldn't want to buy here, and it's really turned into ranging conditions. Here's the whole month of May. So the obvious thing here is the range trade. Again, if this was more of a trending environment and there wasn't weakness here, yes, I'd be looking to buy there. If a buy setup occurs here, there's still a decent chance, but it doesn't fit the whole background. You know, an A plus high quality setup includes background. So if you're doing a fib trade in the middle of a range, to me it's a mismatch. That's me. No, I haven't been on Skype in a long time. Asking about oh, you guys can see that question. Member setup Skype group. No, but maybe I should do that again. I don't know about Skype, or if I could maybe even put something on the website, like a little chat window or something. Maybe I should do something like that, yeah. Because Skype is just, I just get bombarded and it's distracting, and chat rooms are distracting and all that. So that would be awesome. Okay, that's something to consider. Yeah. Steve, yeah. Okay. I like that idea. I think I should put it on the website itself. Just have like a chat window. If I can make a chat page. It's a good idea. I could even pop in. So that would be cool. And you geniuses can do your thing there too. Okay, so we got through the analysis. We know what we're doing here, here. AJ. Fib's going to have to be redrawn if they're making a new high, but obviously there's very strong momentum to the upside, and any sort of fib retracement I would consider, as long as there's not high volume weakness before the pullback. Typically, things don't go in a straight line, right? They test the 14 EMA, they test fibs, and a bit of weakness could bring it down. We don't need huge. There's a bit. So for now, the fib is here. If it goes higher, it has to be redrawn. But that's what I would take there, since we have such a good momentum. And some limited weakness on the high. Let's see if we can come down. Again, EJ, not loving it, but we're in a fib area. Let's see if it's an overshoot of 618 or a break test. I don't really like this price area to do anything with EJ. And the pound yen, is it a break test? Is it a fake break? Well, we're back above it now. Talk about some indecision, right? Weakness, strength. Looks like we're going to break out, and then we have too much volume there. That's the high price. Get back into the old range to create a fake break, but tons of buyers. So they got to figure this out. And what I would do now is just treat it like that's the top. Because then we can finally get an answer there. Is it a real breakout without weakness, or do we get a fake break, high volume rejection? So I would deal with it like that for now. That's really the high, since it really hasn't decided anything clearly in here. But if once it tests here and gets slightly above, we should have a straight answer, hopefully. Okay. Now, UJ, yesterday. Remember that one? Anyone get it? So we saw a bunch of times. Strength, fib zone strength. There's no supply. And then we hung around. 618 overshoot. The volume's kind of sporadic. But in a trending move, we had the strength and no supply. We had strength again there. Then we sort of just sat around on medium volume, but eventually made it out after the fake break. So going forward, UJ, oh, you took the UJ, Steve? Good. I'm giving you thumbs up right now. Okay. So, UJ may be doing a fake break on the. Okay, Sean, let's check it out. Yeah, new high ground. Let's see where we are from a daily point of view. New high ground. Now, if it's a trend, my initial thought is I want to go with this trend unless volume is telling me not to. And it's clearly a trend. Now we are getting some high volume into here. Is it climactic? No, it's close. This one, next one closed higher. Let's see what the 5 minutes says. Old resistance here. So here's the new high ground. Obviously, weakness came in initially. Look what it's doing. It's doing another one of these. We're not sure, right? Because look, high volume weakness, but it didn't create the fake break. When it paused and tested for buyers, right? These sellers come in, they test for buyers off of a proper level, which is resistance turn support. So they stop their activity, and there was enough buying to create this. Are they selling into that again? Right. So we'd have to get, if we're talking about a reversal situation, obviously we have to make the fake breakout pattern. So I never sell while it's outside of that, right? The fake break increases unless we really moved up far, and that's a different story. But this is, the fake break really gives so much extra probability on the short if we could just get below that level now. If you're considering shorting, so I would wait for that. If at any point, particularly because we're seeing a mixed environment with weakness, but then this bullish pattern, so it has to resolve itself by either coming back down and saying, yes, it is bearish, or moving up into new high ground without weakness and saying, yes, it's a real breakout. So if we get above this and we don't reject, we're really getting past a fake breakout territory, and it's likely a real break. But if we do come back down and do that breakout, we do have weakness there, and initially weakness. So it's just a matter of seeing what it wants to do. Because again, just the messenger. It is a mixed environment with weakness and then the break test. Bearish and bullish information. So it has to resolve one way or another. But typically, like I say, if something's trending, I'm not going to really be thinking about going against the trend unless the chart is really saying so, which is really clearly selling and lack of buying. And a break test continuation doesn't tell me lack of buying, right? It's a bullish situation off of that. So mixed environment, it has to resolve. Higher prices without weakness is a real breakout. Coming back below this level without strength and staying there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes down below this, then it is a bearish situation, right? So it'll figure itself out. Oh, wow. Look at the time. Jeez. See, when you guys talk to me, it feels so much faster. Here's, I'll take a quick look at the cryptos. And again, very light news day. There's really nothing going on. Light Euro news just came out 5 minutes ago. This says light impact. And there's nothing till the U.S. session, which is all medium impact, U.S. Canada. Cryptos. Okay, so I am still being patient on this potential day trading opportunity. Just to remind where we are. Can I get this right? There we go. If you notice from a daily point of view, obviously it's a rejection off the 50 fib exactly, and then now potentially a fake break, right? But the 5 minutes got to agree with this stuff. And I know already that the 5 minute is showing a little too much weakness here for me to like this just yet. Also, right, let's get some volume on this buying. So it's not quite there for me to go long. If it dips down and hits some large buying, something could clean it up. All right, chart, let's go. There you go. There's some weakness to the left. But here's the dip into the fib, right? And that's some of the highest volume recently we've seen. This is a 1 hour chart. So there certainly was buying there. Here again, ignore that red, right? So into the fib zone, we are seeing them. Here's the weakness that showed up to bring it down. Not horrible. Here's some weakness here on an attempt to move above that, creating a fake break. Not horrible, but they're there, right? That's the thing. If this volume stayed flat, we would have made it out, right? So it's not quite, and now here we have some buying again. Probably the best thing to bring this together, you know what I'm going to do already, is, of course, either moving up and not seeing this sort of issue with weakness, or moving down into lower territory. There is a 618 here, so we have all that room, or just a fake break, and seeing some sort of, nice big volume off of that. And if you get that in this area, huge volume, and you're able to get through here, you may take that trade off of that level. But if it just kind of does a fake break here, and you get through this area and these sellers don't show up, then you have the imbalance, right? So I'd probably put a position on this from a day trading point of view. If we get through here and it's just little to no volume increase, getting above it. Or again, if we drop down and buyers show up again in large amounts, and I can sort of reset the entry and look at it from there, test for sellers and stuff going forward. And this anywhere from a fake break down to the 618 overshoot. Litecoin's gotten a bit sloppy there. But we still see it just kind of toying with that fib zone, right? So I think the story, if you want to sum it up, because there's correlation here, It's kind of similar to the Forex charts. There's a bit of a lack of consensus and clear direction. Buyers show up where you expect. Sellers show up where you expect. Some of the Forex pairs are doing that. And not a clear consensus and imbalance in this fib area. But again, it clears up if we consistently see buying and 618 overshoot can't get past that, and then selling disappears. Or if the buyers don't show up and we go lower, then I'd really be waiting for lower prices. This guy's at 7. That's not bad. This has a nicer sort of uptrend to the left. This is behaving a little more bullish. It's in a little more progress. But let's see. 1 hour. We were talking about that yesterday. Yeah, I didn't end up taking anything on this, but this might be a little more clear on the buying. Right, here's your double bottom overshoot, whatever that is, all that business. 618. Here was your initial automatic rally. Well, we talked about it yesterday. It actually ended up going higher first. A bit of weakness, but really more on the strength side. This something about this, right? It looks a little more bullish, but we do have some sellers still hanging around. Again, we just talked about that pattern on other pairs, so the correlation is there, where it didn't quite get out, and you can see the weakness coming in on a higher price there, and then new high ground there, weakness again, right? Higher prices tell you about sellers. So they're still hanging around. So it's correlated in the end, right? We get through that without sellers, or we come down here and see buyers again and kind of reset and see if the entry shows up. Okay. All right, guys. So hopefully you all saw the email that the 10 p.m. session, at least for now, again, the attendance was low and it kind of just felt redundant. One of the main reasons I started my schedule of being on the charts at 10 p.m. New York time was day trading the cryptos, and I wanted to check in on them besides being on for London Open for Forex trading. But I'm not so actively day trading it. I'm a little more patient. And again, like we do this analysis at 10, and then I sort of ended up just repeating it to everybody because not many are showing up at the 10 p.m. I also thought it would be good scheduling wise for those who couldn't attend London Open, that they could at least attend that session, based on their own schedules. But everyone's just here, and that's just decreasing and decreasing in demand. So no demand and no supply. So that's that. But if you guys are like, no, I want the 10 p.m. session, I always watch the video or something. But nah, I don't think you guys really care, right? Okay. It was a bit redundant. But I can put a little extra time and make sure we're doing everything thorough at the London Open here. All right. Again, you guys want to be all cowboy, but there was weakness to the left, and I see it again. And that's exactly why I said I wouldn't take this entry. And I'd be very cautious. And there is weakness showing up. Now, if it gets to this level here and continues up, all right, it might be trying. But, I mean, if you just look at this chart, I wouldn't want to be long or short. Weakness, weakness, strength, strength, weakness, all here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere. I wouldn't want to be in a trade here. Again, the GU, the UJ yesterday. You stay conservative, you'll get your setups. Anything else to add? What I really want today is the AU. Euro's got to make up its mind. Higher or lower. GU, I'm sticking to the range trade. If you guys want to trade fib retracements in the middle of a range, feel free. Let me know how it goes. AJ. AJ, nice trend. Let's just get a regular old trend retracement, right? How much weakness is off the high? Not horrible. Not horrible. Particularly if the strength is nice high volume. And that's like a 20 pip run just to the high. If it doesn't make it through, you take some profit and lock break you. But that's a good trending move there. And the 1 hour volume's high, but notice it ended up with a higher close, and the 5 minute doesn't show weakness, so I can use the two together. EJ I really don't like, and Pound needs to make up its mind. We thoroughly talked about that one. They got themselves into a bit of a mess now, and I can imagine that the computer software algorithm trading things are like on hold. Does not compute. No high probability projection. Warning. Okay, guys. Have a good weekend. You're already out of GU and EU longs. Okay, good. Slow clap for Sean. Be careful. All right, cool. Good. Okay, guys. Have a good one. See you.